Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, I'm going to do my review for Ghostbusters 2016. Yes. Yes, the also controversial Ghostbusters, the movie that everyone hates, and everyone hates for a different reason. Some people hate it because there's women in it. Some people hate it because it ruined their childhood. Oh my God. Boy, that line right there, to ruin my childhood, that's probably, I don't know who invented that, but they should be hung. It's probably the stupidest line I've ever heard. I can understand someone saying their childhood has been ruined if when they were a child, they witnessed some horrible things in the family, like abuse, or they themselves were abused, or they didn't grow up, with some daily benefits of TV and entertainment and stuff like that. And they didn't get the best clothes, or they didn't live in the best neighborhood, whatever. I get it. But if you're telling me at the age of between 18 and 40 that a movie about people, doesn't matter if it's male or female, a movie about people catching ghosts, completely imaginary, is ruining your childhood or has ruined your childhood, it's time to go out and get laid. Yes, get laid. Because that should be your focus if you're like 35 to 40 and worried about your childhood as opposed to worried about getting laid. So with that said, let's proceed to my review. Plain and simple, it is not a great movie. It is not a bad movie. It is average. I think the biggest problem with this movie is they could have cut out about 20 minutes. That's what the problem was. The movie started off so good. Very, very reminiscent of the original. Very classic in that aspect. And then it hits a point where it just keeps going and going and going and going. And it almost starts to get like, all right, is this going to transition into phase 3 or into the third act? Second act was way too long. Way too long, the second act. They really needed to cut that down. This movie doesn't have, it's a little over 2 hours. And I don't think comedies should ever have to be that long. I really don't. I think an effective comedy can go for an hour and a half, an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes. This movie did not have to be 2 hours. This movie could have been solid at like an hour and 25 minutes. They really could have cut out literally like I said 20 minutes. They literally could have cut out like 40 minutes of this movie. And it would have made a world of a difference. It would have actually been a very good movie as opposed to just mediocre. I was going in there, clean slate. I was rooting for the underdog, as I always do. But truth is truth. And I've told people on the nation that when I see this movie, I'm going to judge it on its own merits. And if it's really good, I'll say it's really good. If it's really bad, I'll say it's really bad. In this case, it's neither or. It's average. I thought there was some parts that were funny. Kate McKinnon and Chris Hemsworth, for me, my opinion, were worth the price of admission alone. They were hilarious. Chris Hemsworth was just hilarious in this movie. The other ladies were fine too. I think I was a little bit disappointed with Leslie Johnson's character because they kind of made her the typical slapstick, stereotype African-American character on the movie, which was like, all right, did we really need to do that at this point? Because if you remember the original, that wasn't done to Ernie Hudson. Ernie Hudson was just a regular dude living in New York looking for a job. It just happens that he was black. He wasn't stereotyped. He wasn't stereotyped in that movie. And that's one of the charming things about the original when you look at the diversity of the group. Obviously the scientist and then the working class man coming into the group. Yes, he's not a scientist, but he's clever. He's hardworking and he's there for the team. Leslie Johnson was kind of treated like an outcast. Like there's a part where Kristen Wiig's character is like the three scientists and Patty, and it's like that's kind of fucked up. Why would you do that? So I wasn't too crazy about that. The comedy was hit and miss, and it's sad. It's hit and miss because it's too long. Some of the jokes that I didn't actually laugh at, I would have laughed at in any other movie, but because the pacing in this movie was so stretched out, because the movie felt so stretched. Sometimes there were gaps in between some of the lines that it just didn't feel right. So that I really, really think the editing in this movie is what hurt it more than anything. They just needed to cut out about a good 40 minutes. And you can see easily where they can cut it. There's a lot of crap they can just cut out. So, but the girls themselves were fine. The girls, Kristen Wiig was her charming self. Melissa McCarthy was her goofy self. I didn't have a problem with the ladies. The ladies are great. And the cameos were okay. They were okay. There was one cameo for Egon or Harold Ramis that I thought was a little in poor taste. And it's so quick, but you can see it. You can clearly see it. And it's just done in poor taste. I wasn't too crazy about that. The special effects were good. There were times that the ghosts were really scary. I was actually surprised because, we all obviously judged this movie on the trailer when it first came out. But to be quite honest, there were some pretty scary ghosts in there. I was a little bit surprised. And a couple of jump scares that even my wife got caught with. The ending of the movie was a grand spectacle. Probably a little bit more than it needed to be. But you could tell that this movie, it tries really hard to fight the negativity. And sometimes I think it's best if, in this case, it would probably work for them more if they just ignored it. There were so many little lines and little jabs at all the negativity that the movie got that after a while it's like, all right, we get the point. You don't agree with them. You don't, agree, whatever the case may be. And it's like you get it. I think one or two jabs would have been fine, but there were like 5 or 6 in there. So after a while, it's like, all right, I understand. I get it. I don't like the hate either. I think it was not worthy of the amount of hate it's got. I think a lot of other people have said that. I agree. I don't think there have been so many movies worse than this. Ghostbusters 2 is worse than this movie. This is actually out of the 3 movies, this is the second best one. So, so there have been much worse Ghostbuster movies much worse movies in general that could generate more hate than this movie. To this day, I still don't 100% understand it. I know it's a slew of different reasons, but boy, I was, when you think about that much hate and what people may not like about the movie, you kind of start, it's hard to kind of be like, oh, well, maybe it will be good. After a while, it's when so many people are on top of it, you start thinking, yeah, this movie might suck. But it didn't. I laughed. I overall had fun with the movie. It was fun. It was funny. It's not perfect. It's not the first. Nothing will ever be the first one. Even if they brought back the original cast, even if Harold Ramis was still alive and they did a third movie, nothing will be better than the first one. That's the bottom line. That's it. I think everybody can agree with that. Whether it's the ladies or whether it's an original male cast coming back or if it's a new male cast coming in, nothing's going to beat the first movie. So, but overall, Ghostbusters, if you're on the fence about it based on all the negativity, I would say go give it a shot. If you just hate this movie, then don't bother watching it. You already made up your mind you hate it. Don't go bother seeing it. But I think the ladies did a lovely job. I think there's a lot of effort there. I think the biggest mistake in the movie was, number one, too much attention towards the negativity you got, and number two, too long. This does not have to be a 2-hour movie. It should have been an hour and 25-minute movie max. Hour and 25 minutes max. It should have been. And of course, I was going to say leftovers, but of course, the end sequence, there is a scene where it obviously tells you there's going to be a sequel. So, but we'll see if that sequel ever happens. It's all about the money. Right now, it's trending okay, but it's going to have to, I think, depend on the international. So we'll see how that goes. But this was a $140 million budget movie, $144 million. So they're going to have to pull in at least a good $550 if they want a sequel. And I just don't know if that's going to happen. I don't see it. I don't see them maybe cracking 100 here, but I don't think they're going to get 450 overseas. I'd be surprised. So anyway, guys, that's it for this review. This is Rob signing off for ETN, where we don't do news. We just talk entertainment. Let me know in the comments if you saw Ghostbusters, what you thought about it. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you for watching ETN. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Join the nation's Facebook page to meet other subscribers or visit ETN's Facebook page and Twitter page. Links for all are in the description.
You're watching ETN. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, I'm going to do my review for Ghostbusters 2016. Yes. Yes, the also controversial Ghostbusters, the movie that everyone hates, and everyone hates for a different reason. Some people hate it because there's a woman in it. Some people hate it because it ruined their childhood. Oh my God. Boy, that line right there, to ruin my childhood, that's probably, I don't know who invented that, but they should be hung. It's probably the stupidest line I've ever heard. I can understand someone saying their childhood has been ruined if when they were a child, they witnessed some horrible things in the family, like abuse, or they themselves were abused, or they didn't grow up, with some daily benefits of TV and entertainment and stuff like that, and they didn't get the best clothes, or they didn't live in the best neighborhood, whatever. I get it. But if you're telling me at the age of between 18 and 40 that a movie about people, doesn't matter if it's male or female, a movie about people catching ghosts, completely imaginary,